Well, you see me here in my robe this morning. I think it's still morning, it's almost noon. I can't believe I slept from 11 to 11. I've never slept that long in my life. But I guess you might say I had reason for it. Today is December the 30th. We're ending the year 2023, and I think some of us are ready for a new year. I know I am. I'm hoping for better things, and we just have to think positive for the time being. Now, I'll bring you up to date. We had a wedding yesterday. Very nice wedding. In fact, I've come to the conclusion that this is the way weddings should be. This one was a small one. It was Jan and Charlie. Don't forget the name, Charlie. That's my new son-in-law. He has this beautiful old home built in 1907. I wasn't expecting a whole lot when I drove out in the country, and I mean it's out in the country. My friend Lou and I were trying to find the house because I'd never seen it before, and this is where the wedding was going to take place. We drove, I guess we emptied a 3/4 tank of gas trying to find the place, because we kept going on the wrong road, going the wrong direction. But finally, after 3 phone calls to Jan, we finally got on the right road, and we got there just in time for the wedding. I told Lou, I said, thank goodness we left early. So we were the last one to arrive. Now, I was a bit surprised at the house itself. It's a white house. I don't know if I need to describe it. I just know it had 10-foot ceilings. It had 2 fireplaces. Oh, and in one bathroom, it has the old clawfoot tub. Love those clawfoot tubs. The master bedroom was almost as big as my whole apartment. I could live in that one room. I loved it, just loved it. The kitchen was modern. Now, of course, I go along with that, except I love the looks of the old kitchens where the refrigerator stood on legs, and the sink had the big drain board on each side, and you had the great big faucets in the back. You know what I'm talking about. I don't have to describe the Victorian style kitchen to you. But anyway, I was very surprised and very pleased to see how pretty the house is. That's where the wedding was being held. It was family and a few friends. There were about 20 in all, and room for everyone to sit. So, Jan's got a handful of photos, and I'll go through those and pick out 2 or 3 that I'll show you later on. We went for dinner after the wedding in Midway, Kentucky. Now, most of you don't know anything about Midway. Very small community, very old community. All of the homes are, well, not all of them, but most of the homes are in the 100-year-old range. And it's a treat to drive through Midway. The other feature about Midway that draws a lot of tourists is that the railroad track goes right down the middle of the main street. You've got shops on each side of the railroad track, so you have to cross the railroad track when you're shopping. And we went to Gibson's restaurant. I'd never been there before, and they were prepared for the whole crowd for dinner. I, of course, chose steak. I love steak and potatoes, yes. Very good, very tender. So that it had a big menu. You had anything you wanted to pick from. So we got that over with, and Lou got me back home without having to go through the countryside again. We got on the interstate and we made it back home. I think she got home okay after she dropped me off. Now, having said that, I ran across something in my notes called Christmas Past. I thought you'd like to hear this. I'm going to read it to you. It goes like this. Christmas Past. Here is your after Christmas uplift. Everybody needs it. I'll begin with Christmas 2020. Now keep in mind one thing. That was 4 Christmases ago. And Jan was married to Denny. It was a short time later, Denny passed away. So this is who we're talking about in this story. Christmas 2020. Don't get upset when I say I'll be the first to tell you I'm not a dog lover. I don't care how beautiful you think your dog is, how smart he or she or they are. Don't try to sell me your story about that wonderful sweet thing that sheds hair all over my best black pullover and slacks. Yes, Christmas Day 2020 began somewhat questionable. Snow, sleet, black ice, and a little sunshine. Snow covered the ground, not much, but enough to know snow can be slick, especially when you're in a car and you don't trust your own driving. My contribution to Christmas dinner was to be cornbread dressing, corn pudding, cranberry salad, and sweet tea, because I'm the only person who drinks tea. We bypassed on turkey that year. I was looking forward to filet mignon, like I had yesterday. My new son-in-law was ready to perform his culinary skills on me. He had been a cook on a Navy submarine, so I figured he knew the tricks of the trade. Anybody that can crack 140 eggs in the morning for breakfast and prepare them for the captain and whoever else is on the ship ought to be able to prepare a good filet mignon. I don't know who was the most nervous, though, him or me. I had already been given orders that I was not to drive way out in the country to my daughter's house. There were only going to be 4 of us gathering for the fun and frolic that day. Have you ever seen an 84-year-old woman frolic? Okay. With the help of some idiot who set off a bomb in Nashville, Tennessee, upsetting the whole AT&T apple cart, nobody could make telephone or internet connection. Now that can be a problem, as you probably have discovered. Was I going to be sitting at home alone, watching The Christmas Story all day? Yes, all day, and eating dressing and corn pudding for dinner? Or was someone going to appear and gather up my friend and me and our goods, then head for the country? Well, I'll bypass the intermediaries, except for the fact that my phone that couldn't be used anyway got lost somewhere in my house and couldn't be found. My friend, the 4th person, and I were finally picked up mid-afternoon. Phone still not found, and off we went, dashing through the snow with gifts, dressing, sweet tea, and corn pudding. Our driver was quite pleasant, given he had to drive 30 miles in and 30 miles back to his house with 2 women in the car griping and groaning. Oh, yes, it was going to be a fantastic day, considering 2/3 of it was already over. Now, getting back to the dogs that I don't love. Who was first to greet me at my daughter's front door? 2 of the biggest and happiest German Shepherd dogs you ever saw. It was like they had known me all their lives and couldn't wait to get their paws on me. You know how big their paws are? Well, I'll tell you. Keep in mind, German Shepherd dogs aren't the size of a cute little weenie dog or a Shih Tzu. Even if these pony-sized animals do want to lie in your lap and be petted. And they don't care if you want to greet them or not. Just be ready to shake one of their paws. Now on with the story. Opening gifts would have to wait. That piece of toast at breakfast didn't fill the bill for the whole day. We were hungry. The time had come for the cook, my son-in-law, to prove his worth. Food came out of the oven and steaks were prepared in a skillet. Steaks you could cut with a fork. I must admit, I enjoyed one of the most delicious holiday meals ever. It was simple, table for 4, and all we needed was a maitre d' to serve us. We managed. Later gifts were shared. It was beginning to get late, and the thought of another trip back into town wasn't in our favor. Ah, heck. I decided we'd just spend the night. I was a good couch sleeper. And besides, I brought my PJs in case they invited me. Hang in there. The best at last. By 11:30, everyone was petered out. Jan prepared my bedding. Keep in mind, the house was being heated with a wood stove, and during the night the fire would die out. I looked up, and Jan was holding a folded chenille spread, a quilt, and 2 furry throws for my bed in case I got cold during the night. Now, I can tell you this one thing. By the time she piled all that on top of me, I couldn't turn over. And I wasn't sure but what frickin' frack the guard dogs would be there to keep me warm as well if I got cold when the logs burnt down and only the red-hot embers were remaining. I was facing a huge wall mirror where I could see the reflection of me and the burning embers. That's not good, especially if you have to get up during the night to go to the bathroom and you suddenly see someone staring back at you. Before I could give out with that blood-curdling scream, I realized that was me in the mirror. Okay, I didn't scream. I crawled under the heavy covering that felt like the dogs had piled on top of me and was asleep by the count of 10. Not an hour had passed when I woke to something wet and sloppy on my face. I opened my eyes, and from the light of the glowing embers, I saw 2 big brown eyes glaring at me and a shiny wet nose. I was being slapped in the face with the tongue of a huge German Shepherd dog named Samson. Need I say, I wasn't very happy with the situation. It took a few minutes to convince Samson I wasn't his Delilah and he wasn't wanted. He finally moseyed into another room with his tail between his legs. I drifted off to sleep again, sleeping soundly. Then suddenly, something wet was rubbing my face again. I opened my eyes, and there stood big brown eyes again, staring at me. We all know when enough is enough, but Big Boy wasn't getting the message at all. Do you know that feeling of being stared at while you're sleeping? You aren't sure if it's real or you're just dreaming it. Every hour of the night, my face got a wash down. Now and then, Samson slung his big paw down on my chest. Thump! According to my son-in-law, the German Shepherd guard dog was protecting me. No. He wasn't protecting me. He was practicing CPR on my chest. Okay, another year has passed. It's now Christmas 2021. Many things have changed, a few for the better and a lot more for the worse. My son-in-law left this world the day after Thanksgiving. It wasn't going to be the year for celebrating. At least this year I am home, and I hope I won't be waking up in the middle of the night to something wet slapping me in the face. For excitement, I thought about going out and finding an ice-cold telephone post and sticking my tongue to it. But I discovered that wasn't going to happen. The temperature this Christmas Day was 70 degrees. No frost on the post. This is in Kentucky. It's a Wonderful Life, which, for your information, is the most depressing Christmas movie I have ever seen. It wasn't that wonderful. I watched the Griswold Family Christmas only twice that year. I loved when the aunt stood to do the blessing before the dinner, and she recited the Pledge of Allegiance. Now, if you haven't laughed in a while, that would made you laugh. Love that part of the movie. The movie hadn't changed a bit after how many times I've seen it. I can't seem to remember much else about that holiday. Okay, we're coming to Christmas 2022. There's only 3 of us this year: mother, daughter, and granddaughter. Snow, just enough to make the road slick, since my granddaughter was driving from Louisville. She took precaution and had no problem driving. I volunteered dinner at my house. She and my daughter, Jan, everybody knows Jan now, barged through the door loaded down with Christmas gifts. They had already been told no gifts. All they were getting from me was dinner. Who sets a Christmas table with quiche? Me. I've never made quiche in my life. Every few minutes we tested them. One by one, there were 2, with toothpicks and a knife. There was asparagus and bacon and herb and cheese. Looked done to me, we all said. Tomato bisque was served first, my special recipe. Then quiche with salad. They're not big eaters. Dessert came later in the day. I've already posted, whoops, let me get back where I was. I've already posted my table setting on BTS, which is Beautiful Table Settings website, which I thought was quite nice. I don't have much to add to this except to say my daughter listens well when I say things like, I'd give anything to have a blankety blank blank. And you guessed it. I got that beautiful square Fostoria cake stand I had mentioned several times. I mentioned it several times so she wouldn't forget. But I was still very surprised. You've already seen all the pictures of me and the cake stand. Somewhere I posted them. But I'll show you one more. That was the end of this story. So then now we come to Christmas 2023. We've had the wedding. I'm waiting for more pictures, and when I get those pictures, I will show them to you. I'm still working on the contest, and wouldn't you know, I made a big mistake when I told you how you could find the website. I did it wrong. Listen to me. I did it wrong. This is the correct website. Now hold on here. I'm going to read it to make sure I get it right this time. It is WTBQ dot 2nd Street app.com. Get that? WTBQ dot 2nd Street app.com. And that will take you to the information, A Woman Worth Talking About. And whoever the winner is will appear on a daily segment at 12:30 called Let's Talk Kentucky. Well, I can do a lot of talking about Kentucky. Born and raised here. There's several lovely ladies' pictures and their biographies, and they are very professional people. I don't know exactly what the television program is looking for, but I don't have a lot of PhDs and master's degrees by my name. I've just got me and my personal experience. And the young man that submitted my name with his own written bio of me is as excited as I am. And we're both just holding our breath to see who the winner is. And the Lord willing, it might be me. Cross your fingers. And the contest ends December the 31st. That's tomorrow. So anyone else entering has to get their nomination in today. You can't vote for me. I know if you could. Goodness gracious, I've got 31,000 subscribers. Wouldn't that be fantastic if you could vote for me? Well, I'd kind of like it. And I think the TV station would be a little bit surprised, too. So we'll wait and see, and I don't know how long it takes them to decide on who the woman interesting to talk to would be, but according to my viewers, it's me. And we'll wait and see, and if I'm disappointed, just one more disappointment just running down the stream, we'll try again for something else. And my friend Daniel, I don't want him to be in tears if I don't win. I'll cry for him, and he won't have to. Thank you, Daniel, for submitting my name I appreciate your confidence in me and the fact that you follow me on YouTube. And all of my subscribers, I know you would be in support of me if you could vote. So, in a few days, I'm sure we'll know who the winner is, and we'll be into the year 2024. Now, don't forget, tomorrow night you get to watch the ball fall. And don't do what I do, fall asleep at 10 minutes to 12 and wake up at 2 minutes after 12. You missed the ball again. I miss it almost every year, and I have to do the reruns. So, that's good enough. I've talked long enough. I'm still here in my robe, and I'm going to have to get my clothes on because I got to go to Kroger's and restock the fridge. I took most of my good stuff to Louisville for Christmas dinner at Jessica's house. We had a great Christmas dinner. Charlie was there with us. So, now, remember that name, Jan and Charlie. He's going to be popping up in the picture now and then, I'm sure. I think you'll like him. So, have a happy new year. Watch the ball fall. And I'll get back with you later. Good morning.